Welcome to Sharing My Truth with Mel and Susie, the uncensored version, where we bear it all.
We do.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello. Welcome back. Sharing My Truth Pod. Here with Mel and Suze. We have a fun interview. We just finitoed with lovely little Cass and Leah, or Coco and Lola if you're nasty. No, okay, just to be real fair and real. These are two women who are so incredible. They're kind of like us. They're in their late 40s, early 50s. Obviously I'm in my early 50s. And
In spirit.
And no, they're so cool. They have an amazing website. It's called intimatewellbeing.com. You guys have to go to this website. They have literally one of the best lubes on the market. They live in Canada. All of their stuff is extremely I don't know if I can say healthy for you, but it is organic. So it's like really good for your body, really good for your vulva, really good for your sex life.
The lube is.
The lube and everything else.
Everything else, fair enough. Yeah.
Come on. But we just had an amazing conversation with them, chatting about, sex toys.
For midlife women, that's kind of their niche.
Midlife women, but also the millennials that are coming up and are more curious about sex toys and are more excited about them, kind of. And they're bringing their moms to their workshops and seminars.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I don't know if Mel would do that with her daughters, but no.
There's no way they'd come with me. Just said no way. They'd be like, okay, see you later.
I mean, it's a really interesting point of view. Like, Leah was the one who said, she was 47 when she figured out kind of that she wanted to take charge of her own pleasure. So obviously that just shows us that you're just it's never too late.
No, I don't. It's not uncommon that women, you have said you have friends like young women who don't have toys or like, oh no, I don't need those and that kind of. There's still a lot of stuff surrounding it.
So much.
And just like at the end of the day, live your life, do what you need, buy what you need, do what makes you feel good. As long as it's legal, that's my mantra.
Well, as long as it's legal, even if it's not, ladies, let's go. But I know, Mel, you said something to me after we had the interview, and I thought it was really important. And it was that you feel like it's your responsibility to teach the younger women.
Yeah, I do.
And it's like, I think that's kind of what Cass and Leah are kind of doing too.
100%. I mean, we can't, particularly, I'm 51, women of my age, a bit younger, a little bit younger, a bit older, we can't sort of be complaining about the fact that things were different when we were younger. We didn't have sex toys that we could buy online. You had to go into some slightly seedy, creepy shop. People didn't have sex toys in quite the same way. People weren't as open about sex. Women definitely we're not talking about their own pleasure. I mean, please. I mean, most women hadn't really figured out where the clitoris was, That takes a lifetime. And I think if we want young women to be educated, young women to figure this out, to be empowered, then we have to teach from a position of knowing what was wrong when we grew up and teach the positive. We know what not to do, so we need to talk about what we should be doing, I think. And that's the kind of principle I live by, Susie.
I love that. I do agree with that too. Like even now, I know I'm not old, and I know you're not old either, obviously.
Thank you, Susie. Yeah.
But I do feel somewhat of a responsibility as an empowered woman who is comfortable with their sexuality that we should be talking about it more in an open way and a comfortable way and not being afraid to kind of talk about sex toys because they're a huge part of especially women's well-being. Because I'm sorry, guys, your dick isn't going to do it all. Okay? And that's okay.
It is. It's really okay.
For Christ's sake, you're still Batman. You just need a little Robin.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and I just, exactly. Why are you worried about that? Yeah, and most women love Batman.
Oh,
they really need.
God, we're not fucking Robin, for
we
goddamn
need
sake.
the essentials of Batman, and it really is good.
And Batman has all his tools. It's
He's
very
got
cool.
all
He's
his
got
tools.
gadgets.
Exactly.
Very sexy.
Thank you, Susie. But Robin really does make it just
Well, he has the last punch, you know?
very good. Yeah, he
Kicks
makes
them.
it all just that little bit more.
Anyways, that's
Va-va-voom.
exactly. And that's all we're saying is just for the, and if there's guys listening here.
Sorry, Batman.
Yeah, we love Batman. Don't get us wrong. But there's no problem in saying that you just need a little bit of assistance in
Yeah.
the way of like making her come, because it's really important that
Yes.
women orgasm. And I will say this before we get you guys on to the episode. The one thing that they said that stuck with me was that women need 3 orgasms a week
Yeah.
for good sexual pleasure, for good sexual health.
Yeah, and they were talking about older women, so they weren't even talking about
I mean, but
younger
any
women.
women.
No, I mean, then you should have even more, probably.
Oh, yeah.
But
one
I
a
mean,
one a
yeah,
day.
for sure. For sure.
But I don't
mean,
have that, like,
really?
well, I just like, it's not an everyday thing. It's not a priority. Like, I'd like to say that I have, one on Saturday, one on Sunday, maybe one during the week, right?
Fair enough.
But I think that's very, very rare with women that you're having 3 a week, 3 orgasms a week. There's no fucking way that most women are having that.
Yeah, I mean, you got other stuff to do.
You got goddamn everything else
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
Who is prioritizing that? I mean, we should
Women
be.
don't in the same way that men do, just because
Mhm.
I think women can stave it off. You may feel the need,
Yep.
but it's much easier for women, for the most part, I'm generalizing,
Mhm.
to keep it under the lid,
Mhm.
under control.
Mhm.
It makes us frustrated and annoying and bitchy and all the rest of it, but it's easier for us to control it, whereas men, it's much, much harder. I think
Mhm.
that's my experience.
I agree.
And so what we do is we repress it, and we don't prioritize it, which isn't good. And many women, I'd like to say, don't prioritize it also in the relationships when they should be. And if they did, they'd have much happier relationships.
Yeah.
And we would not be miserable. But there are only 24 hours in the day, Susie.
Gosh, it's
You know,
too not
There's
long.
only so much you can do when you're working and children and looking after whatever you're looking after. And it's a lot.
It's too much.
And sometimes you're tired and you just
But
can't
that's
be bothered.
why, like, every more reason to get a sex toy
100%.
and not have to goddamn use your fingers like a cave woman, for God's sakes.
No, and I've never really been the finger lady.
No, you haven't.
So
I've been a finger lady.
I've always been about the assistance.
Good. I mean, it's much
Because-
more proper. Who wants to touch your own
Well-
private parts?
There's the cleanliness aspect, but it's a lot speedier.
Oh, it is.
I mean, let's be frank.
It really is.
So we're putting the responsibility on men, and it's hard to get it all going if you don't use electronic
It is.
tools.
That's why it's like, fucking, why not?
And
Add
we're
a little
using-
extra fun in there.
AI for everything else. Like, why not a magic technical tool for your clitoris?
Huge fan of technology.
See?
Please run the world. If vibrators ran the world,
That'd be a lot more peaceful.
I'll be a lot more.
Anyway, we're now going to shut up.
Shut the fuck up. Love you guys so much. Enjoy this little interview,
Yeah.
and we'll talk to you soon. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. This has literally been so fun. I know we've been talking a little bit back and forth. But thank you so much. We start every podcast. We really want you guys to introduce yourselves, plug whatever you need to plug on the socials so people can look at you while they're listening to this awesome podcast. So please go ahead, ladies.
Thanks for having us, Mel and Susie. We are Leah and Cass from Intimate Wellbeing, a Canadian online retail boutique and online community, a sexual wellness boutique for the midlife woman.
Thank you so much. It's all very exciting. Obviously we love sexual wellness and pleasure. I don't know if that was obvious. But yeah, we absolutely love what you guys do. You guys are obviously gorgeous beings in Western Canada, really kind of leading the trope of hot girl summer, hopefully for us, and hot girl pleasure. But yeah, we obviously, in the way of like sexual wellness, it's so important to really understand your bodies. So like, how did you guys start this awesome company?
All right, I'll give you the Coles notes, but she'll probably jab me in the
I've heard it too many.
I was married twice for the culmination of about 30 years. And at 47, I found myself single and on the floor of a Airbnb in Vancouver and listening to a podcast. It was about pleasure. And all of a sudden, I had this massive aha moment wherein it was like, oh my God, I'm responsible for my own pleasure. Wow, what a novel concept. And at 47, I had not owned a vibrator, had not used Lube. And I found myself kind of Googling sex shops in Vancouver. So fast forward, next day, I'm driving up and down the street, spotted the shop, drove, parked, walked by, thought, okay, there's lingerie in the window. I'm safe. If I know anybody in there, I'm just in there looking for lingerie. That's safe, right? And so I go in there, and damn it, there's people in the store. And so I'm waiting, the store empties, and I went like a deer in the headlights up to the woman and I said, I'm here. I need help. I don't even know what the hell I'm looking for. Please help. And that was my experience in buying my first sex toy.
Oh my gosh.
Little
That is
intimidating, little uncomfortable. And so that's why we wanted to start the store. There's not a whole lot of stores out there that aren't quite, let me say it nicely, they're a little raunchy. So the premise behind the first business premise was that we would create a site that was safe and non-intimidating. And we really wanted to focus on the midlife woman because that's who we are. And we wanted somewhere that women like us would want to shop. And we really thought that's where we would hang our hats.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got into it and we realized, oh my gosh, there is such a massive market. I like to say there's everything from the Kia to the Bugatti as far as sex toys, as far as lubes, lotions, potions, et cetera, et cetera. And so we really wanted to niche down and find what is our corner of the market. Where can we feel comfortable making recommendations? I mean, we didn't want to have 30,000 SKUs. I think we're down to about 300 SKUs. And so we really wanted body safe, reputable, women developed where and when possible, and really honed in on that market as far as the retail aspect of things.
Mm-hmm.
But then we just, as we were doing it, like we were getting a lot of pushback, and there's just so much stigma and shame really around, I think in our age group too, like we just were not given the memo about pleasure and sex a whole bunch. There's so
Like in
much
the Gen X age
information.
group.
In my age group.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, that's where we really thought that there was a hole. So we started talking to doctors, we started talking to gynecologists, we started talking to sex therapists, and now we have a whole skew of them who we consider really good friends, but also part of our community. So every month we do offer free sexual wellness seminars, and we cover everything from libido to hormones to communication to arousal, orgasm, pain, pelvic floor, everything that pertains to the midlife woman, but every woman and essentially every body in terms of relationship and intimacy and ultimately pleasure.
It's very, I mean, I'm 51, so I don't know, you lovely ladies, I could not tell how
No,
old you are.
also like you
We're
said, like 47,
you.
you started this journey, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like you look 37, so I'm just confused. But
What a grandma.
oh my
Wow.
gosh,
Wow.
congratulations!
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Fabulous. But I totally, I know, even coming from a different culture, I'm from England, and that was another whole thing. But I totally understand what you're saying and how women somehow we didn't get the memo. I'm not entirely sure we have the memo now, to be honest with you. But I think it's fascinating that you had the courage. Oh, I mean, that's a lot of courage to do that, to go into, to be 47 and go into a store, and ask those questions. I mean, that is very, very courageous. But what do you think it has changed? Like, you're in this industry now, so you must see a whole gamut of a whole range of views. What do you think's really changed for women in terms of views and
Especially in our age group and our avatar, the patriarchy has had such a stronghold for so long.
Mhm.
I, speaking from experience, only knew pleasure through the experience of being with my husbands. And if
right?
they were in the mood, and
Only
depending
one
on
at a one at a time.
Maybe it changed if it was both of them, but
if they were in the mood, depending on what mood, depending on how long they were in the mood, and
Right.
depending on what they wanted, is how I experienced pleasure. I mean, I feel like I missed that memo so early on that my pleasure was A, my responsibility, and B, um, subject to a whole lot more than what they had in mind. And so I think that that is the truth. We last year we did 14 trade shows from Vegas to Toronto, Vancouver, Red Deer, and so many points in between. And a lot of the conversations were there's a lot of stigma around sex.
There still is. I mean, the question coming back to is what's changed. I think people are getting more open to talking about it. I think the younger generation, like we do go to the trade shows and we sell lube, our signature lube. And the women of our age group are a little bit standoffish. I don't need it. I'm not there yet. But anyone of the 20s to 30s, they're like, give me 2 bottles.
yeah, why not? That's crazy
I
that
think
they're like, we're
stigma
not
in
there
that
yet.
you
Everyone
must-
needs lube.
Exactly. But our age group, they think that you're saying that they're dried up, basically.
Yeah.
It's a
We
badge of honor
associate
not
it.
a
Yeah.
badge of honor not to need lube.
We get
Right.
it all the time. I'm not there.
Exactly. They
Oh my God.
associate it with a part of like your life that you're going through, and that therefore you're getting older, so you need it. I mean, there's even like, this is a bit of a diversion, but I think like I'm not actually at the moment going through the menopause, but I find women, I'm sort of perimenopausal still, like women who are older than me, like my aunts and so on, they don't want to talk about it. And they're almost like, oh, yeah, it was nothing. You're like, it wasn't nothing. It's not nothing at all. So do you know what I mean? So even if you think that is a thing they can't talk about, they can't talk about the menopause, like the hormonal changes, how it's very tough. How are they going to talk about sex? I mean, how are they going to do that?
One of our experts, she told us that 80% of women will suffer at some point from vaginal dryness, and only 4% have a solution. Either they're too scared to talk about it, they think they're the only one, they don't know that there's a solution out there because no one's talking about it. And she just really, we really want people to know that you don't have to suffer alone. Like you have to be brave. You have to have a conversation with someone, or maybe you just come on our store and you order your vaginal moisturizer. I don't know, but yeah. There's still a lot of stigma even talking about menopause.
Yeah.
So what is different about regular lube and your guys' special potion lube?
It's the best damn water-based lube you're ever gonna find. It's totally organic. It is made in BC. I wish you could feel it right now, but it's really, really silky and it lasts longer. So it's good for the midlife woman. If you're, friction is a problem, you want lube in there. You don't want a whole bunch of lube. So a little joy will go a long, long way.
But most importantly, what we like to say is it's not what's in it, it's what's not in it. And I don't have my glasses on, but to read the long list of what's not in it, no propylene glycol, no parabens, no petrochemicals, no mineral oils, no endocrine disruptors, no synthetic fragrance, no synthetic color. We like to say that what you put on your vulva and in your vagina should be as clean and as pure as what you put in your mouth. That's the difference between our lube and so many more out there.
I love that. I so believe in that because I'm very careful about my vulva. We're calling it vulva, obviously. That's what it is. Vulva, vagina, whatever the fuck. But it is very important. I feel like people don't understand that you're not supposed to wash it with soap. Like people still don't understand that you're actually just not supposed to. It's a self-cleansing
Self-cleaning
element.
Yeah. Yes. Well, that goes back to the shame and the stigma. I think a lot of women were
See, Mel doesn't actually believe it.
No. I've lived on the earth for a long time. I have a separate soap for my vulva to my body, but there's no way it's not touching some kind of cleansing product. I can't.
Oh, for sure.
But I do get it. Like
anything special. It only needs soap.
yeah, it's like very, very gentle. Like I buy something specific.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. People don't know that, and they don't. And I think our generation also is like obsessed with smell and talking about, and lots of like weird hang-ups that we have that I think younger people do not have these hang-ups.
Not as much,
Not,
maybe.
I mean, I think they actually, shockingly, we found from what we're doing in this podcast, I'm shocked at how many hang-ups young people still have. I'm thinking, wow, we're still there. There's still a long way to go for women, I think. There really is.
What do you guys think about that?
True. I mean, we can go to the porn, how much porn there is out there and what young women are trying to live up to these days,
Social media
That's Susie's dog.
trying
Sorry.
to live up to,
Mhm.
what's on the reel, the highlight reel. And the multi-billion-dollar industries to fix us women, we need to look younger. We need to look, brighter, or plumper, or airbrushed, or whatever. So ultimately, we can't fix it all. We can't fix it all.
So
We're not meant to.
Is take agency over our body, help ourselves talk about it in finding pleasure, and along the way, treating our sexual health as importantly as our physical, as our mental, as our spiritual, as all aspects of our health. This has to be priority. Did you know, another memo we didn't get along the way? There are so many women out there who don't ever seek a pelvic floor physiotherapist. I didn't
Oh
get
my
the memo.
God.
You're told to do your Kegels from a very young age, right? Shoulders back, tits up, do your Kegels, and
what she said.
smile face forward. But okay, so at 47, I bought my first vibrator, and once we started growing our community, and I learned all of what a pelvic floor physiotherapist does, I thought, well, if I'm going to speak to it, I better go experience it. And so there's certain pelvic floor physiotherapists that can do an internal, and others that can just, check your pelvis. So long story short, I went for the whole kit and caboodle, the whole shebang, had the internal, and she says, okay, now perform a Kegel. So I did. And she says, try again. So I did. So I've been doing Kegels 51, or not 51 years, but the better part of my adult life, doing Kegels, thinking I'm taking care of my pelvic floor, only at 51 to recognize I didn't even know how to do a Kegel properly.
Wow.
On that note, women our age, in our age and stage, should be having 2 to 3 orgasms a week for optimal pelvic floor health. We're not talking pleasure. We're talking taking care of what's going on down there to take you through to the next 50 years.
Wow.
Yeah. But I think there's a misconception in our age group that, sorry, we're boring Susie with these old folk stories, but that, we somehow don't function, when in fact, a lot of women, or, I think of a lot of my friends or whatever, they're like in their sexual prime. I mean, they're like, right, they're going for it. The husbands, maybe not so much. But because they're sort of going up here and the men are going down here.
But that's weird because I actually do I have a lot of 50-year-old friends, obviously. But like I have a lot of guy 50-year-old friends, and they are all saying also, like, obviously, like, now they're into younger women, right? And
I don't think that's new.
No,
That's
obviously
not
it's not new, but it's like it's like they're also in their prime. But like, where is this like, misconception of they don't want what the 50-year-old women want? Because I know the 50-year-old women are horny. The 50-year-old guys are horny, and now they're just not horny for each other. Like, what is going on?
No. The 50-year-old men don't want the 50-year-old women, and that's really all.
I don't know if
that
that's
it
all
is.
the time. I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, actually, on the subject of that, do you speak?
Unwind, right? Like there's a lot of, if you've been with someone for 20 years, maybe it's not libido. Maybe you're just bored of having the same sex every night. And a vibrator or two. Yeah,
Good
that's
point.
yeah. I mean, that's a sex therapist's job to fix that, not ours.
Not fix all the problems. But do you, on the subject of, we're talking about men as well, like you've talked obviously a lot about your company really is about solving that solution for midlife women, for the solution of toys and lube and so on. But presumably you encounter men along your journey, you talk to them because they're part of some people's equation. What do you find about how they're educated at certain ages, or what do you find the differences? what's the comment from men really that you encounter?
I mean, I would say we do talk to women probably 80% of the time, but we do have men ordering on the site. And men, I mean, the majority of them are quite happy that their wives want to add something new into and I had a gentleman phone me about a month ago because someone had told him about it and he couldn't get through on the website. He's like, "Will you let me call you?" I'm like, "Sure." And we had a conversation. He's like, "Your site made me cry. It made me hopeful that my wife and I could have pain-free sex." Because like women aren't told all these options that can help you. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to. Sex pain isn't normal. Like there are solutions, and a lot of women are just suffering. Like those are probably it's probably the most asked question that we get. I'll get an email saying, "I haven't had sex because it's too painful. I don't have penetrative sex anymore." Always. So I think men are quite happy to
Help find
help
solutions.
find solutions. I mean, there's still men out there who probably are a little bit intimidated because they think the vibrator is going to replace them. But I mean, I don't think women dream at night, "Oh, I can't wait to, cuddle with my vibrator." Like they still want an emotional, intimate connection. So I think it's just helping men understand. We do have a seminar coming up next month and it's about introducing toys into the bedroom if there is some intimidation. Yeah.
That's
But no,
amazing because
yeah.
it is so interesting that men still have this weird misconception of just women. You can't have a vibrator because obviously, like, that is my dick. And it's like, your dick isn't a vibrator. Like, that's just never gonna, it's your partner, right? Like, it's your buddy.
Yeah.
It's just so ridiculous.
It really is, but there is still a long-standing stigma for certain couples, not necessarily just men. Well, I have a partner, I don't need a vibrator, or
Yeah. Why, someone said that to us. Why would I need a vibrator? I have a husband.
It's like just have a little bit of something else. It's like I have pasta every day. Why do I need a salad? It's like
I mean,
why
exactly.
why?
Yeah.
Like you can differentiate your taste
But
buds.
to me, also, that a mature man would not like get it is
Yeah, it's
astounding.
crazy.
Like, hello.
It's insecure.
Yeah, very insecure.
Insecurity.
Yeah. But I think a lot of young men, and you think a lot of young men, like, you're 28, a lot of sort of younger men, that they don't really get it. And I find that's interesting because they have so much, they're surrounded so much more with it that, their female partners will have sex toys, unlike our generation. There are all these websites. They know women look at that. They know we talk about the fact that young women, look at porn. It's not weird. So the fact that they still don't get it is a little mystifying to me.
Well, I mean, how it's portrayed in the media for sure. Like, think about even a sex scene that you see in a movie. It's like he just sticks his penis in her and she has an orgasm. Like, it's
Yeah. And it all just works. And it's all great.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be freaking nice?
I know. It's fascinating, isn't it?
yeah.
No.
And
That's like my favorite. I remember like because obviously like we still grew up with kind of the same movies, like right? Like I remember these sex scenes, and that is what I thought about. And I've said it in other episodes. Like my first orgasm was 4 years after I first had sex, right? Which in my idea is a long time. Maybe that's not for other women who have had longer times, but like
It's still a long time.
It still feels like a long time. Like you have these experiences and then you think that you're enjoying them.
Yeah.
And because you see what's happening on TV and all these things, and you're not at all, or as much as you would think that you would be. But that's so great. I literally just I love everything you guys are doing. It's really amazing. It's so important. Yeah.
So in terms of like we talked when we were talking about this, like the generations, the differentiation, like because you talked about it, and obviously that's what your company is doing because it's serving one generation that perhaps didn't have the education of the current and the younger generations. So what is the big thing that differentiates it, the generations that you find that you come across the most?
I mean, there's still stigma, but I think they are more open. I think maybe their parents are talking to them more, or maybe, you know what, maybe it is social media because they're seeing it more. But they're so happy to talk about vibrators with us, where we get a lot of women who still are whispering at our booth of our age group. I think this just socially, maybe sexual wellness and sex is just becoming a bit more talked about. And so maybe that's passing on down to them. I don't know the whole social aspect behind it, but from who we talk to, the younger kids are more open than our age group, for sure.
And there is a ripple effect in our age group. I think with menopause being so prevalent and in the news and so many recent studies and with, all sorts of different, say, workshops or retreats, it's just really starting. Sexual wellness is a growing industry as a
Normalizing.
whole, and there is a normalizing of it. And then a lot of people in the community, whether it's Dr. Laurie Mintz, who writes Becoming Cliterate, or Dr. Laurie Brotto, who writes Better Sex Through Mindfulness, because it is now on the New York Times bestselling list, and it is normalizing. There is a shift.
You can buy vibrators at Walmart.
Yeah.
You can buy them in Shoppers.
Anywhere.
Yeah,
You can
very
buy them
fun.
in. I tell this story always to Susie that I was in. What's the Dynamite? The garage, the like older store. Dynamite. The clothing store. It's from Montreal. I don't know if they have it out west.
Yeah,
So it's kind of. Is it Dynamite? Yeah. So it's like geared at sort of women, I suppose, early 20s, maybe starting to go into the workplace. And I was in the store with one of my daughters. I won't name her because she's going to hate me. And we were buying some stuff, or she was looking to see if she could get some stuff. And at the very sort of kind of in this sort of weird kind of way, they had it by the cash, they had some sex toys, and it was just looked really weird. Like it was like an afterthought that they thought, well, we have to do this because 20-year-olds are coming in, but we're a little bit ashamed of it, but we'll sort of put it there. And that's a bit weird. And I remember, and of course I'm a bit loud and annoying and very embarrassing. And I'm like, oh, look at to my daughter's like, shh, shh, this is embarrassing. Shh. But it was just like, either just do it and have them somewhere in, talk about it, and it's part of what you're doing because you're speaking to this generation, or just don't have this really sad little shelf, because that really is ridiculous. And that I'm not embarrassed, but all you 20-year-old women are embarrassed is kind of funny. But I mean, I think they sell them also in Indigo and
Yeah, they did. Like I don't know if at the stores, but online.
maybe online, Anthropology, places like that. Yeah. And I think
It's part of your wellness now.
yeah, but I think the thing that's changed is that young women all buy them, and that's not the issue. They still don't talk about it.
True,
But there's still like a bit of a weird thing about we don't talk about it.
we
Still
don't.
stigma.
There is still stigma, but I have to say, at a few trade shows that we've been to, some of our most heartfelt experiences are mother and daughters buying vibrators together.
I'm
They'll
obsessed
take
with
the-
that.
They'll
Wow.
take the deal. They'll take, mom gets one. We had the mother of the bride and the bride. And then we had, about an 18-year-old?
Yeah, they got her mom to buy her one at the show. And her
Yeah.
mom's like,
Wow.
I don't have a vibrator. Tell me about this. How does it work? And she was happy to buy it for her daughter.
It is a part of
It's
like
how
wellness.
empowering.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is
Definitely.
really so great. Like you would not get that even like 5 years ago. And I think social media does have actually a huge part of that, right? Like where obviously social media is horrible in so many ways, but it does have these, you're able to talk about it and find people that like the same things that you could like, or make you want to maybe like, oh, maybe it isn't so weird that I actually do want to find something that makes me come that's not a dick.
I hope.
Thank you, Susie.
You're
for being-
welcome.
She likes to be clear and straight to the point.
We lost you there, but we're back here.
Oh,
sorry.
oh, you lost the whole bit then.
No, good, honestly.
It's probably a good thing. It's a good thing. But I think one of the other things she's coughing.
No, you're good.
Sorry.
You're good.
Sorry.
You're good. And we're talking about the different generations. Do you see that there's like new trends that are coming into sex toys, like vibrators? Like rabbits were really huge in the 90s. Now big black cocks or something coming up. Like what is
Or the little rose.
the little rose, that's a thing. Like what are the big trends right now?
Two that come to mind right now is the spike in couples vibrators. Whereas before it's
Amazing.
The what?
couple pleasure, whether it's a vibrating cock ring or whether it's a
Oh,
rabbit.
I see. Yes, right.
But the couple vibrators have, I think, they're they're finding a surgence in sales.
App enabled. So your husband or your partner or whoever can be across the world and controlling.
Or across the table.
Yep.
Right.
Those ones are big. I mean, I think every woman should have a clitoral vibrator, and a lot of women still don't know what those
Yes.
are. You don't like if the clitoris is built for pleasure, and that's how most women orgasm. Everyone needs a clitoral vibrator, not some penetrative thing that's just going to be like a penis.
For the women who are experiencing vaginal dryness and discomfort and the whole notion of finding a very soft, non-penetrative, quote, massager, that they come in all these discrete little sizes, and it doesn't have to be a whole lot of vibration, but to use it as a massager down there to
Right.
help
Blood flow.
stimulate blood flow, et cetera, et cetera. There's a whole new use for vibrators for not just pleasure, but helping to create arousal and get things ready.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I wish more people knew about it. I think there's still this sort of feeling of sex toys, particularly for women, although many more women have them, that it's something you use on your own. It's something you do, in the privacy of your, but know that you can use it with your partner. It can be really helpful, particularly and really fun and everything. And particularly if you're going through different stages and there's no shame in also changing as a woman. Whether you're 30 or 40 or 50, you change, you need different things, your body, who cares? You do what you need to do to feel good. And you need a partner who's on board with that, as far as I'm concerned. But I think there needs to be more conversation around that. I don't honestly think from the people we talk to that they kind of get that in a weird way.
Well, even like my friends who are like in their like 20s,
Hey, you've
like
told me
late
this,
20s,
yeah.
even early 30s, I find that like sometimes they just, I'm like, yeah, I don't have a vibrator.
And I'm like, what?
What's wrong with you? Like, you're literally just not putting more pleasure into your life. Like, you're being like, nah, I'm good. I don't want more I don't want more fun.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
But it's
No.
fascinating, isn't it? If they're
Well,
in
we
their
don't want them-
20s.
We don't want them to get to be 47 and then make up for lost time, because now
Exactly.
I have 27, 28 in my toy box.
She's a hoarder.
You got to make up for
Let's talk pleasure. Like we get a lot of info from our sex therapist. Like, why aren't girls taught pleasure? Why aren't girls taught that sex shouldn't hurt? Like, I'm sure every girl, when first time she has sex, it doesn't feel good. Like, why
No.
aren't they taught different ways to make that feel good? Why does it have to be a shitty experience?
Mm-hmm. So how did you guys do all of this research? Obviously, super important research for like what toys are great, like how you want your lube to be. Like, how did you guys come to like all of these conclusions?
A lot of research and development.
A lot of research and development. Had to try a lot of toys out as far as that goes.
Oh, that's my job. You can send me those and I will do that for you.
In all seriousness, we took about 9 months and did a lot of comprehensive research. And that was just to curate collection online. Thereafter, as Cass spoke to very early on, it is making the connections and finding the experts. And we like to say we are conduit. We don't have any formal education in this, but we've sought out medical experts and savvy sexperts who speak to every facet of sexual wellness. If we can be that conduit on this platform where we can help connect the midlife woman or, earlier or later life women to the toys or the information that they're seeking, then that's what we pride ourselves on is being that conduit.
Okay. And I did see on your site you sell toys for men too. And you mentioned men maybe perhaps more contacting you or buying stuff for women. But so you have clients that are men that are buying toys for men. What are they buying?
We don't have a huge collection just because we are focused on women, and we try them out. We can't always ask them,
fair enough.
but we do have a small curated collection that we've talked to our wholesalers and our distributors what works, and
prostate massagers definitely are trending, and men are becoming curious, I think, because of prostate health. It's not just for pleasure there. There is some advantages to use of a prostate massager. And of course, there's a traditional vibrating cock ring. But as far as the collection, as Cass says, we have a smaller collection of toys geared toward the man's body, but that's not to say that what we do have is of the higher end that is in alignment with our others, body safe and reputable.
And there's no reason that a woman, like, they don't have to be gendered. A lot of them don't have to be gendered.
Mm-mm.
The ones
sure.
Absolutely.
lovely for men and women on different parts of their, anatomy.
Erogenous zones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, like, so obviously you have either obviously any kind of gender coming to your site, buying these amazing toys, buying your incredible lube. Hopefully both at once, because you need lube. Even when you're using a toy, let's not forget the lube, okay? Not just
What's
with the
better
part.
than lube? What's better than lube? I always ask this.
Spit. No, I'm just kidding.
I always joke around at these shows. I say, "What's better than lube? More lube."
Yes.
Very good. Yes.
100%. The wetter, the better, right?
Exactly.
The
Yes,
pussy doesn't
yes.
lie, but sometimes she needs a little help,
That's
telling
true.
the truth.
That's true.
Well, so like when someone's buying their first toy, and whether that being maybe someone who's in their 20s or their 40s, their 50s, their 80s, what is the best advice that you can give them to buy their first toy?
Everybody is different, so it's going to take a little bit of research and development. But I would probably always start with the clitoral toy, a suction. It's for oral.
It simulates oral.
Yeah, it's pleasure air. It really just depends on who you are. I mean, if you're older and they are having painful sex, the magic little micro wand is a lovely external all over vibrator. It is so cute and so fun, and it's a really good price point. Like I would think everyone could just do well by having the magic micro wand. It's $100.
I wish we had it here, but we just came from a marketplace this weekend. But the good old fashioned magic wand that everybody has known, and it started out very much as a massager. Literally the micro is like the size of my index finger.
So
it's
good.
so tiny and discreet. So yeah, that is kind of a tried, tested, true, has a long history of being reputable. But then it comes down to, do you want something that is penetrative or non-penetrative? Do you want something that is both?
Dual pleasure?
Is it for coupled use? Is it just, we've got a feather these days, and really it's just this nice little vibration that you could use for your nipples, that you can just use for very soft, sensual touch with or without a partner. So it really, your age, your stage, solo, partnered, recommend having a few. It's like, the sushi, the pasta, the steak,
The burgers, the whatever.
Why are you limiting yourself? Like, that's what I never got.
100%.
Womanizer has done a ton of research and development, and they brought in women who had never had orgasms. Of those women, 90% were able to have an orgasm using the Womanizer, which has the pleasure air technology. So I think that's a good one to start. If you've never had an orgasm before, start there.
Yeah.
It's truly amazing. Like, the fact that, oh my God, like women who, and I have friends, so many friends who don't orgasm from sex at all, even if the man is touching the clitoris, or it's just like, it's not going to happen. And whether that's like stage fright, maybe a little bit, or just like pressure, or they just like don't really understand like what's like how to feel. I don't know, obviously, but it's, you have to know how to use your own body before you allow someone else to use it for you a little bit. And like, why are we always, and like, this is how I felt so long ago when I started having sex. It's like, we just allow ourselves to kind of be in the control of someone else. Like, they should know. It's like, no, I'm sorry. This 18-year-old boy is not going to know what the fuck my clitoris looks like. He hasn't even seen a clitoris yet. Like, why?
To be a 30-year-old, anything. But
Anyway.
But I think a lot of women, it's a long journey. So like almost like you're saying, also like a lifetime before you're like, oh, actually, I can control, I can manage this. It's my thing. It's my body, because we're not.
I really think that it's to know your body and to know it well, to know what brings it pleasure. But the second is to be able to communicate and talk openly and
Absolutely.
freely, being open, real, raw, vulnerable, letting your partner know.
And stop faking orgasms, because you're just teaching him that that's how it works and it doesn't work. So what's the point of teaching him that?
Talking about sex, talking about pleasure, intimacy begets better sex. You need to talk about it. You need to express yourself and not fear that you're going to be judged for not claiming your gateway to pleasure.
Yeah, what you need, what you want. There's no shame in that.
I
at
love that
all.
you brought up faking orgasm, because I faked my orgasm for so long. And I think a lot of women. Hello, ladies.
Has.
Oh my God, ladies.
Teaching him that that's what he should do next time.
It's so dumb.
Yeah.
It's so freaking dumb. And we all do it. I don't know why we do it, because we feel this weird pressure of like, oh my God, he has to know that I wanted this, kind of. And like, I don't want him to be mad at me. And like, I don't know if this feels good. I don't know if I'm ever going to come. Like, and then it stresses us out even more. And I think, more than not, like, it's such a bad cycle, and we don't know how to stop either. And like, that was me for a really long time. So anyways, ladies, anyone who's listening, who's faking orgasms still, guys,
don't
stop it.
I think
Go to Intimate Wellbeing, get yourself a little sex toy, for Christ's sake.
I think women do it also. Yeah,
And
talk about they do it because they just want to get it over and done with. They're like, ugh, whatever. Just get this over and done with.
The difficult conversation is the sexy conversation.
Yeah.
It's that difficult one that is going to bring change and hopefully elevate your experience partnered, but have that damn difficult conversation.
But very I mean, on the subject of difficult conversations, I assume that's why a lot of people find your company, because they're finding that all very difficult. What's the main thing do people say they're looking for you when they're finding you, other than obviously a toy? But there must be a bit more than that, because there are lots and lots of companies out there that sell sex toys, and you're a niche, but you're also, you have education around what you're doing, and you're a lot more than just a sex toy company, and you have a lube that you've developed. So what is it that people specifically are looking for when they find you? Do you know?
I mean, keeping track of what the customer service questions that we get. It's just the two of us. So we're answering every email, we're answering every DM. I think for our age group, to be honest, it's all about pain. There's atrophy, there's vaginismus. There's a lot of women who want to know if there's a product that can help with that. And there are
Right.
that can help with that. But there's also pelvic floor physio.
Yeah. So what are the products? Because I don't think that's one thing that's a huge difference in our generations. Like, for the moment anyways, like, we're not having, let's say, as many of these problems. I don't actually know if that's true, but like,
it can happen at any, right? Like, I mean,
Yes.
younger too, if you've just had a baby, if you're going through postpartum, right? So there are products. There's a vaginal moisturizer. There's always use lube. Use a little vibrator. I mean, if it's kind of a use it or lose it kind of thing. So if you're tensing up every time you have sex, it's going to be in your brain too. So you probably do need a little vibrator just to practice insertion a little bit. There are dilators that I know a lot of physio, we have them on our site, and physios do recommend them. I'm not of the huge fan of them because there's no pleasure in that. Like, if you just have to lie there and put a dilator in, which I can see, if there's a lot of women who can't even put a baby finger in, right? So it's probably a very good way to start. But if you had a tiny vibrator and maybe getting a little bit of pleasure at the same time, to me, that would be such a nicer experience. So there are dilators, there's small bullets, there's the vaginal moisturizer, there's just lose the damn lube, ladies.
Yeah. But that speaks to the dryness component, the one pain point of what brings people to our site. We have a tagline midway down our page: are you shy, dry, or bored? And if you're none of the above, we still have something for you.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Because those speak to kind of the negative connotations or the pain points of our avatar. But we also have the pleasure aspect. And like Cass says, it can loop in the pain into the pleasure. And let's face it, if you've been on our website, it is an elevated experience. If you have somebody walking behind your computer while you're sitting on the couch having a glass of wine and browsing the store, it's not like one of those typical raunchy sites where you see a neon green dildo flashing
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
screen. It's a very elevated experience where you feel safe and comfortable, and you want to spend time browsing not only the retail section, but then under the blog that will speak to the pain, the arousal, desire, libido, communication,
Mhm.
everything. It is an indexed platform of evidence-based research that is ever so important in this world of misinformation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
You're
there's links on
normalizing it.
them.
You're normalizing it. You're not making it sensationalizing it or making it just this is normal. Like buying a vibrator should be like
Anything, buying groceries.
buying groceries,
So-
buying a loaf of bread.
Do you guys have your own personal favorite toys that you guys want to share with our audience?
That's me is so easy. It's the chorus. It's the We Vibe chorus, and I love it. It's a couples vibrator, but I don't know whether I just love it because of the tempo, the tone, the intensity, all of the settings. But with or without my partner, he's in Europe half the time. With or without my partner, that is my go-to.
Love that.
And I am loving the little micro magic wand. And I do
Love
like
that.
We have another little one that I really like. It's the melt. I like that one. That's really nice. And we both love the beads.
Oh my gosh.
The beads.
Oh
The
yes, the
beads.
little beads, just for a little subtle foreplay. You could be going upstairs vacuuming. You can just have them, but if you know that you're,
Vacuuming.
having a date night going on, you can,
I am obsessed with
Wow.
that.
Wow, vacuuming.
Okay, so I have a few. Let me tell you. Okay, let me tell you my list. Let me tell you my
We're gonna be
Christmas
here
list.
a
Yeah, we're
while.
gonna be here a while. Okay, my Hanukkah list. Yeah. So definitely big fan of the little sucky sucky, whatever that's
The
fucking called.
rose
The
thing.
little womanizer, right?
Right.
Huge fan of the womanizer. Always love a good rabbit. Always. I love a pussy pump. Have you guys tried those?
What's a pussy pump?
It pumps your pussy.
What is that?
Really, honestly, you don't use it in a huge way. You just have to use it a little bit so that there's a little bit more blood flow. Great for foreplay. Ladies, if you haven't tried it, try something new. Get your little pussy pump going. It's just like, don't make it like crazy. This isn't like a crazy thing. It's just like, just add a little, it's kind of like a penis pump for guys who are having
Really?
problems, but it's for pussy. And it just gets a little blood flowing. It gets the juices going.
Wow.
It's like a battery charger or whatever.
Is it got like
It's just
a
like
thing?
it's like a
Okay. We have more R&D.
You better start selling those. I don't even know what those are.
just in case you're wondering.
Very helpful.
Look at
You better look into them, definitely.
I'm a huge fan of those right now.
Yeah.
In case you're wondering.
Anyway,
it was great to have toys. I mean, obviously in your bedside drawer, but to have some that are easy to take on the plane, put in your purse,
Yeah.
Take on the
Long
plane.
car ride.
I'm just gonna think about you vacuuming the beads every time I'm gonna look at a vacuum in a totally different way from now on.
We're gonna have way more fun cleaning
Like,
now.
wow, this could be so much more interesting.
vacuuming pleasurable, especially when you're going up and down the stairs.
Oh my god, I'm obsessed with this right now.
Absolutely.
Truly.
And Susie hates cleaning, so
It's
maybe
I
now
love it.
she's gonna see it in a whole new light.
There you go.
okay.
To it, you need to have the rabbit. You need to have, the beads, something for the clit.
A little wine.
Little wand.
You wear
Something.
different clothes every day. You eat different food every day. Why you just it depends on your mood. What you need.
Exactly. It's like rowing shoes, stilettos, running shoes. You have to have a few options of footwear.
Yeah, something convenient and then something a little more special for a special occasion.
Something
Like the pussy pump.
waterproof.
Like the pussy pump.
We have a $12,000 vibrator on our site. So
A
if
19.
there's anyone listening, they're available.
We have a 19,500
Is that the biggest
gold
one?
vibrator on our site.
Gold, like solid gold. Why is someone gonna buy this? And like maybe I will, but like tell me why.
If you have everything, or if you're buying a gift for the person who has everything, they don't have a gold vibrator. Sure.
Fair enough.
I am 100% obsessed with this. Mel, clinical list. Check.
We did look up
Done.
another for, you know, just a talk factor. And here we are
Yeah.
talking about it. So now everybody's going to log on and look for this luxurious.
I
think
hope
we're
so.
gonna
Yeah.
get orders off of this. Hey?
We want everyone.
You know what I would do if I had that? I would put it in like one of those cases that you put, like if you won an Oscar, you'd put it in a case, you'd put it on your mantle. That's what I would do.
Right next to
And
your
then-
bottle of Okanagan Joy, right?
Exactly. It's beautiful. It's like on the
Solid
mantle.
gold
It's
and
like,
liquid gold. Exactly. Good one. Solid gold. liquid gold.
Oh my god.
what a talking piece.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then you use it in front of everyone, obviously. 'Cause then that's
Obviously.
something else. Right?
Hey, we don't judge. We've heard
No.
everything. Heard everything.
No
at least-
judgment.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my God, amazing. Okay, well, we have one last question for you ladies. We ask this to all of our gorgeous guests. And it is, we'll ask both of you, we want both of you to answer. It is in the spirit of sharing truths today. What would you tell your younger self as you women right now?
My pleasure is my responsibility.
Mhm. Very good.
I
Yeah.
missed that memo, and my life would have been completely different. I may have not been so rigid, tense, and bitchy at times. I'm taken my pleasure seriously,
Yeah.
or in my own hands.
Yeah.
Pardon the pun.
Yeah.
We talking sex here? Is that what I?
Anything, literally anything.
I think I would just tell myself that I was the main character of my story and not to be passive and to go for it. I think always women are kind of, they don't know that they're the main character of their story. I should have told myself that I was the main character of my story a long time ago. That's a good
The main character. I like that.
I love that. I think that's a huge thing
Yeah.
right now. It's like main character energy. Like,
like
Start-
that mindset. Like it will all work out in the end. If someone had just said that to me, it would have been helpful.
would have been helpful.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that so much. Like, that's so important. Honestly, own your own pleasure. I think a lot of younger women, even like just starting out in their sexual journeys, no matter how old they are, a lot of young women have to really understand that. I think that's so important. And then that will help with being the main character of the story.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. Well, thank
Amazing.
you very much.
Yeah,
for
thank you
your
guys
time.
so much.
you.
We'll let you guys plug your little
Social.
socials and your website one more time for everyone right
Sure.
now.
IntimateWellbeing.com. You can find us on Instagram at intimate.wellbeing. And we do have a nice Share Truth 15. If any of your listeners would like to get 15% off, it's all caps, Share Truth 15.
It is.
Amazing.
And buy the Okanagan Joy. That's our plug for
Perfect.
our best damn water-based lube you're ever going to find. That's our
Woo!
We will mention it all on our socials.
Yes.
When the episode goes out again. Yeah.
Oh my God. Our guys, go get this lube. We have some.
We do.
I've
got it.
used it. I don't know
She's
Mel, but I've
definitely
used it.
You know. Of course she's used it.
I love it. It's incredible. It's supple. It's sweet. It's, it's everything you want in a lube. And it's fun to use with a partner, fun to use by yourself. Just use it.
There you go. There you go.
It's my personal preference.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much
thanks,
for your
Leah and
time.
Cass. You guys have been amazing. We can't wait to have you guys back. Once we have questions from our listeners, we'd love to have you guys back. Maybe answer some of those questions. That would be so awesome. So our listeners who are listening, guys, email us at sharingmytruth.com. Go to our socials at sharingmytruthpod. And if you have any questions about toys or not toys, why use lube? Ask
They
us.
can
We'll
email
ask
us.
Leah and Cass.
Email
They
us.
can answer the
hello
question.
at Intimate Wellbeing, or come on our website and fill their cart. We always have some great promos and stuff going on.
Okay,
Perfect.
amazing. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. We will talk to you very soon, though.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Bye. Thanks so much for listening. Please rate and review this podcast and follow us on social at Sharing My Truth Pod, and leave us a voicemail on our website, sharingmytruth.com, to share your stories and experiences with us. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.